The Raptors lose their second in a row, and it wasn't pretty as they fall to the Hawks, 127-100. I'm Randy Urban. Welcome to Raptors Night Cap. Tonight, we're joined by Leo Rautins, Jack Armstrong, and Sherman Hamilton. Sherm, how did the game turn in favor for Atlanta in that second quarter? I know it was ugly in the third, but I thought I saw the change in that second.
Yeah, I think when you look at that second quarter, a couple things happened. Number one, I thought the Raptors offense got a bit stagnant. We didn't see the ball get to either side of the floor, forcing Atlanta's defense to have to rotate or actually move a lot. And then the other side of the ball is I felt that was the start of Atlanta with that ease of offense that they had. I don't think the Raptors presented enough resistance, and especially for someone like Trey Young, who was constantly living in the middle of the paint. And I know that the game plan was to make sure that he didn't get off from the three-point line, but the ease with which he was in the paint and the time he had to make decisions and the backside rotation not able to be there, I really think Atlanta got into a flow in that second quarter, and it bled into the third quarter. But both sides of the basketball just started you started to see them lose traction offensively, and it started to bleed into their defense. And before you know it, Atlanta was all confident and came into the third quarter and just laid the hammer down.
Mm-hmm. Same question, Jack. What did you see?
Well, last night, I used the word force. The Raptors were up with 45-32, and I thought they were playing with incredible force defensively. And then it just kind of coming and going. And this is a game of habits. And you look at the first, 57 games of the season, overwhelmingly, they were pretty good defensively. The last two games, they haven't been. So to me, it's more about habits and fundamentals and defensive principles. And let's face it, not having OG Anunoby in the lineup hurts because, you can talk all you want about, he struggled offensively before the break. We now know why, because of his finger. But not only is he a very good defender, he doesn't make mental mistakes. He's always in the right place at the right time because he's played for you for a long time. He's a trusted veteran player. And to me, not having him in the mix, and now you're putting other players in for longer stretches, and you're going to have some mistakes that take place. And usually those mistakes take place in your coverages defensively, and you look bad when it happens.
So, Leo, where did you see the breakdowns then?
Well, like everybody's saying, I mean, it's just here's the thing. This team has a small margin for error.
Yeah.
When they're good, they're really good. But when they're good, you got all your key guys playing and healthy and playing defense at a high level, working on the offense, attacking, being aggressive. And we saw that early, okay? Early they came out, they played hard. They finished possessions. They ran off the defense. They got out. Everybody got shots. The ball was moving. And then it stopped. And I as you guys said, I don't think you can downplay the importance of OG. Like I said, that line this team walks is so fine that missing a guy like OG when you don't have a tremendous amount of depth on this team really hurts. And if a Pascal or Fred or Gary Trent Jr., if they're a little bit off and you have a player missing, and now you're going to depend on some guys to play extended minutes and count on them to do some things a little bit more than you normally would or you really should, it could be an issue, right? And so hey, there's nothing I'm surprised. I mean, this team has walked the fine line all season. I think they've done a really good job of managing that. But now that you got teams gearing up for that final stretch, everybody's in a hunt for a playoff spot or a play-in spot. It's going to get a lot tougher, and you're not going to have as many teams just breaking down on you. So you really got to find a way to regroup right now and get locked in and play at a high level. And you also have to think there's probably some fatigue, right? You lose a little rhythm over the All-Star break, but there's probably some fatigue due to the nature of the minutes guys have been playing. So a lot of factors in play, and you hope they can find a way to kind of get around it and keep rolling.
Yeah, sure. Trey Young was obviously outstanding tonight, 41 points, 11 assists. Obviously everybody talks about the handle and how good he is with the ball, but his touch for me is really, really impressive. It's an elite level touch around the net. Is there anything that the Raptors could have done differently to slow him down? Or is it just like he's going?
Well, I mean, first of all, he's so dangerous from all areas of the floor that you have to really pick your lane and stay in your lane. You want to make sure that you understand what the game plan is when you're defending a talent like Trey Young. And you see the Raptors made the call early that they were not going to allow him to stay behind the three-point line and sniper them. They were putting him into drive mode. They were getting him into the paint. Now, as we all know, that soft spot of the defense is right below the free throw line area. And he has done a great job, to your point, Randy, of developing that push or that float shot to look like his pass as well. So it looks like a shot, and then it's a pass. It looks like a pass, it's a shot. You can't really figure out what he's doing, and his touch is off the charts good. So he's an elite level player. And I really thought maybe, one of the things they could have done, and they tried at times, was to consistently get the ball out of his hands, send a second defender. But he was making plays. He had 11 assists in the game, so he was still making plays for his teammates. Personally, I think his movement was too free. His ability to get to spots without any real resistance, to me, that was the issue. Skilled players are going to do what they do, but you have to make it difficult. I don't think Trey Young felt like anything was difficult that he did in this game.
Hey, Sherm, we talked about in the past about when Fred scores big and the effect it has on a team, winning record, right? Well, when this kid, Trey Young, gets rolling, they're 7-2 when he gets 35 or more. So his scoring impacts winning. And I think now they're 16-8 when he's 30 or more. So, when he scores big, they win games.
Jack, is there anything you can do when a guy is going like that? Sure mentioned a couple of things, but as a coach, what would you have kind of diagrammed defensively or set your guys up defensively?
I think Sherm hit the nail on the head there in terms of just the free movement and the comfort level. And I thought the Raptors, when they had a decent start, and then the Hawks made a run, then the Raptors made a huge run and got that 13-point lead. They were Atlanta was really uncomfortable. The Raptors were really being physical. The perimeter defense was excellent. The NBA games are long, and ultimately, what determines your fate is your habits defensively, and the intensity, the toughness, the force that you play with, and the other term I would use is ball pressure. I just don't think there was a lot of pressure on the ball tonight. And they were, when there was pressure, it was, pressure late in terms of trapping and scrambling, but you're playing from way, way down. So to me, I just think right now you got to get back to basics and just be more effective in terms of playing the way you can play. And we've seen it in the first 57 games.
Yeah. Leo, Thaddeus Young had a nice little pass down low to Precious Achiuwa, who was cutting for a layup in the first. And Precious obviously had a great game tonight, season high in points. I think having a player like Young could really be great for the growth of Precious Achiuwa.
I think Thaddeus Young is great for, all the guys on the floor because he's a veteran, right? He certainly can complement Achiuwa. I think, the veteran experience, sometimes you'll see Birch and Achiuwa on the floor together. Thaddeus Young now, when you have veteran guys, they can help Achiuwa because at times he gets lost, right? And especially like defensively, he had a very good offensive game, but he got lost quite a bit defensively in this game. And so you want to try to help a young player as much as you can with veterans around him. And that's the presence of a Thaddeus Young. And it becomes that much more important without an OG. OG is the guy that's just been around. He understands what everything is what everybody's doing and what's supposed to be happening defensively. So the sooner Thaddeus Young can kind of pick all that up, his presence, could make a difference for a lot of these guys.
And guys, I just want to add to what Jack and Leo were saying about OG Anunoby. He's a very good defender, but what he can do is when a guy like Trey Young gets hot, when a guy like Terry Rozier gets hot, you can say, OG, get into him.
Yeah.
And he might not be able to stop them, but physically they're going to feel him. And that creates disruption of flow. So as much as OG not being on the floor hurts them on the offensive end, like both Leo and Jack have said, defensively, it's a huge, huge impact. And when guys like Trey Young get it going, there's no OG to throw at them and say, at least make it difficult. They didn't have that tonight.
So, Jack, the Raps have 2 games in your borough coming up, big games against Brooklyn, back-to-back home and away, first away. What do they do to fix this? Because this is 2 bad losses in a row.
Well, the first thing is rest, because they look tired. They look like a team that, and maybe some of it has to do with just struggling playing wise, and then that impacts how you play. But to me, I think you got to get your personality back, to your mojo, and your personality comes from your defense. And I look at a team like Atlanta, I look at a team like Charlotte, they're front-running teams. They get their personality from their offense. And to me, I know you need the ball to go through the basket sometimes, but if I close my eyes and kind of do word association with the Raptors, the picture that comes, the word that comes up doesn't necessarily jump off the page as finesse and, kind of like Charlotte and Atlanta, where their mojo is their offense. That's why they're below the Raptors right now. I think the Raptors got to get back to, hey, man, we're a hard-nosed, blue-collar team, and we're going to be in your face. We're going to pressure the ball. You're going to be uncomfortable playing us. We're going to be junkyard dogs out here. And then we're going to get our offense from that. We're going to crash the offensive glass. We're going to win the deflection battle. We're going to win the 50-50 ball battle. We're going to do all the hustle things. We're going to beat you in all the hustle categories. And the last 2 games, they haven't been that team.
Yeah. Great stuff, guys. Good news is we are going to be able to do some word association in person very soon. Very soon. We'll be back at Scotiabank Arena on Tuesday for a home game. We'll do this nightcap.
Are we going to have red cups and sushi?
Red cups and sushi for everybody. And Jack, you're going to get some cheese. Sherm, you're going to get a high five from me, maybe even a hug, maybe 2 hugs. Who knows?
Hey. No, that's not happening. We're staying distant.
Okay. All right. Next game for the Raptors, Monday night in Brooklyn against the Nets. Tip-off goes at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you then.